I've talked about this before on my channel, but did you realize how important having a really good why is to your motivation in sticking with a diet like the carnivore diet or any other type of diet out there? You know, here's something that's interesting. A 2017 review in obesity reviews found that people who start diets for extrinsic reasons, appearance or social pressure, etc., tend to quit more often than those with strong intrinsic reasons like health, longevity, and energy. That's why you want to use those types of things for your why rather than appearance, that kind of stuff, right? Now listen to this. 80 to 95% of people regain weight. Long-term follow-ups show that while most people gain weight within the next 1 to 5 years, often it is because their initial motivation wasn't sustainable or was no longer in place. That's why it's important to have a really, really good why. Behavioral psychology suggests that without a clear why, willpower alone is rarely enough to overcome cravings, habits, social media, environmental type of pressures, social media, all that kind of stuff, right? So it's very, very important to have a why. Now, there isn't necessarily a study I can pull out and says that 70% of people that fail on a diet fail because they don't have an established why or really good why. But there's a lot of evidence that suggests that most people that do fail just don't have that established, or it wasn't a strong enough of a why. It was something that they were able to obtain, and then they obtained it, and then they stopped doing the diet and eventually gained the weight back, that kind of stuff. So it's really, really important to have a strong why, something that is really personal to you and really, you know, really makes you want to continue to do that diet or whatever it is, right? So something personal, something that you don't just achieve, like, I want to lose 20 pounds, because you lose those 20 pounds and then what? Your why is gone, right? And then next, you gain the weight back. So you want something really personal, something like, I want to be healthy because I want to watch my kids grow up and have kids of their own and be able to play with my grandkids, stuff like that. Now I kind of pulled that off of my own why, but that's part of a really good strong why that is very personable to a person, and just really is going to keep me accountable. Now the next thing with that why is you can't forget it. You have to constantly remind yourself about that. You are in charge of your own body and your own health journey and so forth, and you're accountable to yourself. So you want to remind yourself every day when you wake up in the morning, remind yourself of your why. Say it out loud, even. It's okay. Nobody else has to be around. Just say it out loud. Tell yourself why, and it's going to help you to stick with that why. It's going to help you to get past some of those cravings. Speaking of the cravings, when you feel like eating something that you shouldn't, stop, remind yourself of that why. If you have to, go ahead and eat something that is good for you just to help get rid of that craving. Eventually, you'll find that you'll have less and less cravings. But those are the types of things you got to do. Stay away from those bad foods. Remind yourself of that why. And that is why a why is so powerful. A why that you remind yourself every day, every time that you feel like you're in a vulnerable position, a tempting situation or whatever. Remind yourself of that why. And that really can help many, many people that struggle with sticking with a diet, or, that got to a point that they did have a why and they reached whatever that why was, but it wasn't a powerful enough why because you were able to reach it. If you can reach it, that's a goal. That's not a why. And that's great to have those goals too. Like, I've had goals, um, a goal could be that you want to lose 30 pounds. But once you've lost that 30 pounds, you've completed that goal, and you can celebrate to yourself and that milestone that you completed that goal. But that's not your why. There should be something stronger, something more powerful, something that really hits home for you. And that's how you continue to go and not just stop and get lazy or just, struggle because you don't really have that why to keep you going when the times are tough, when there's temptations, when there's cravings and so forth. That why is really important. Now, if you are new to the carnivore diet, or if you're struggling a bit and maybe you need some help with some of the more common mistakes that people make on the carnivore diet, I've got a video right here talking just about those mistakes. Check that video out next, and I will see you in there.